Good evening, everyone. Columbus and Lowndes County are partnering to take drugs off the streets. Today, city and county leaders sign off on an interlocal agreement with the Sheriff's Department and the Police Department.
However, it could be a while before the Columbus Lowndes Drug Task Force actually hits the streets. WCBI's Jory Talley is joining us live from the courthouse with more on this new agreement and what it means.
The creation of the drug force task has been in the works for several months now with the mayor, sheriff, and police chief. Now, the goal is to get as many drugs off the streets as possible.
The agreement is similar to a lot of drug task force.
City and county leaders unanimously agree on a new effort to keep drugs out of Lowndes County, which could lower the crime rate.
I could just speak specifically from the city standpoint. Probably 80% of the crime is drug related.
The creation of the Columbus Lowndes Narcotics Task Force comes with a new agreement, including a new vehicle.
The only thing that we will do is provide men's equipment and just whatever the sheriff said that they need, that's what the city would do, is provide manpower and equipment and supplies as requested.
Narcotics agents have worked with the Sheriff's Department for years. Now, with CPD on board, all of the agencies can closely work together and help each other solve cases throughout the county.
You're going to add manpower to it because we're going to have 4 additional investigators or narcotics officers working the streets, and also bringing with them will be information or intelligence that they may have that our guys might not have, and vice versa.
Police Chief Oscar Lewis will submit a list of officers to the Sheriff's Department. Then, Commander Archie Williams will interview and select task force members.
After the time frame passes, we'll end up with 4 from this city. I think there's going to be 2 at first because there is going to be some training involved and it's going to be a little time consuming. We want to make sure we get it all done before we just add too many people at one time.
It could be a few months before the residents see the interlocal agreement at work.
It will be a process and it'll take a little time, but the good thing that the mayor and the council is proud of is that now we have a true drug task force between the city and the county.
Lowndes County Sheriff Mike Arledge says he's encouraged about having more crime fighters on the road. A similar task force was disbanded several years ago. The new group will have different regulations.
It was important to me, and it's important to the citizens, that we have no outside interference with, say, a city councilman or a board of supervisors or maybe a prominent person in the community. We don't need to, other than them helping us gather intelligence. We want that, but we don't want interference in how we run our police operations.
Now, that paperwork signed by city and county officials will be sent to the Attorney General's office. It could be a couple of weeks before that paperwork is signed. Live in Columbus, Jory Talley, WCBI News. Back to the studio.
A Columbus company is missing its van and its employee. Corporate Dining Concepts is trying to find 36-year-old Antoine Marquette Harris. Columbus police say Harris and the van he was driving were last seen this past weekend. It was along a route in Northport and Cottondale, Alabama. Anyone with information can call Columbus Police or Crime Stoppers.
A detective takes the stand today in day 2 of the trial for a man charged in a 2014 Ottawa County shooting. Tobias Coleman is facing 1 count of aggravated assault in the shooting injury of then 18-year-old Zacharias Blanchard, who was shot in the head. Ottawa County Sheriff's Department Lieutenant Brent Watson gave an account of the evidence in the incident that resulted in 5 people being shot at Club Rock. This happened in the spring of 2014. The state attorney general's office is prosecuting the case. Coleman was arrested by U.S. Marshals in September of 2014. Watson told us back in 2014 that more than 1,000 people were at Club Rock when the incident occurred and more than 20 gunshots were fired. Blanchard's parents have told us their son was in a coma when they first got to the hospital.
A pair of traffic stops in Clay County ends with 2 men behind bars. Deputies say when Roderick Woodard of West Point was pulled over, they found a gun, cash, and a felony amount of dope. Woodard is charged with possession of marijuana and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. He's out of jail on a $10,000 bond. In a separate incident, investigators also arrested Benny Neely Jr. of West Point for felony possession of marijuana. His bond is set at $5,000. Time now to turn our attention to weather. Meteorologist Alex Puckett joins us with your first look. Alex?
Thanks, Tommy. Right now, a live look atop our Alpha Insurance Skycam here in downtown Columbus. A little bit of cirrus clouds back off in the distance, but for the most part, we will stay clear overnight and fairly mild. As it's still quite warm out there right now. Temperatures in the 60s, maybe a couple 70s left on the board here in East Mississippi as well. For the rest of your evening, temperatures dropping down into the upper 40s overnight, but more rain on the way later on this week. I'll have details later on in my full forecast.
Well, as you know, Friday, President Trump signed an executive order restricting people from 7 countries from entering the United States for 90 days. Now, international students across the country are learning how this could impact them.
WCBI's Victoria Bailey talks with Mississippi State students to hear some of their concerns. She joins us live in the studio with more. Victoria.
Yeah, Joey and Andrea, the executive order comes with a lot of controversy and protests throughout the nation. International and American students at MSU tell me their hearts are heavy. It also leaves many unanswered questions for some foreign students.
Our dream turned to darkness in by just a signature.
Mississippi State senior Shari Hashard Habadi describes how he felt when he first learned about President Trump's executive order. He says his purpose for coming to America is to learn and to prosper.
Already have background checks like FBI checks, and many students wait months in line to get the clearance. But right now I don't know what happens for those students and also for us who came here for a brighter future to seek a better chance for life. I don't know what happens.
People from 7 majority Muslim countries are impacted. MSU students say this makes it difficult to see friends and family.
Left back my elderly parents, my families, and my beloved ones to come here and pursue better future.
I think my parents, after what Trump said, they're afraid to come here because they didn't want to pay the ticket and come here, and in the airport they can't come in.
Dareen Altiar arrived at Mississippi State in December. She says it's harder on her and her family, but she can see why the president signed the order.
I understand that his order came from his fear for his people. There's a lot of fear everywhere, so he's afraid for the community and for his people.
MSU student Katie Graham is teaming up with other students to host a candlelight ceremony on campus. While she is an American, this MSU student believes she understands why her foreign classmates feel this way.
I moved here from 1,000 miles away from home, and I didn't know anyone. And I spoke English, and I'm a privileged white girl, and it was horrible and hard. So I can only imagine what it was like to come from overseas to a country where you don't even speak their language and you know no one, and then to have those people tell you that, you know, you're a terrorist or you're potentially of a terror group, and that make you feel unwelcome and like a horrible person when you're just trying to live your life.
The candlelight ceremony will be Wednesday evening at 6 at the Junction on MSU's campus. Joey?
A lottery bill remains alive in the Mississippi legislature. House Bill 804 was changed this morning in committee. Chairman Mark Baker offered a plan to overhaul the bill to create a state lottery. The Brandon Republican offered few details about the change, but says he wants to keep the possibility alive this session. House Speaker Philip Gunn is not a big supporter of the lottery, but Governor Phil Bryant says lawmakers should consider a lottery.
New and improved roads will be rolling out across Lowndes County this year. The Board of Supervisors approved the Road Department's 2017 plan in today's meeting. Supervisors have been riding the roads to see which ones need the most attention. $2 million will be split among the 5 districts. $500,000 will be put aside for maintenance.
This year we had a real bad drought and it caused the roads to crack up and break, so we had to tear some roads up and we're going to redo them. So of course that puts us back from where we'd like to be, you know, moving forward, because we got to go back and fix them before we start, you know, doing new ones.
Now, Burns says maintenance could start now to get the roads ready for repaving when weather permits. Construction could begin as early as April. You can see a full list of the roads in the 2017 road plan on our website, WCBI.com.
Tupelo councilmen take the next step in demolishing an old hotel. A $194,000 bid was accepted by city leaders this afternoon. The building is at North Gloucester and McCullough. Travel Lodge bought the hotel in 2005 and it has sat vacant for years. It will take 45 days to demolish the property once the contract is signed, and then contractors will level off the property.
Hey, Miss Rebecca. Yeah, let's go ahead.
Our Allie Martin, you see him there, is with them. We check in with him after the break.